All right, it is March 1st, 2021. So much to celebrate today. We'll get to it all, including, Garrett, it's your birthday today. Happy birthday. A milestone birthday.
It's a milestone birthday, yes.
And
It's
you're still here with us.
one of those decimal increments. The decennial increments is what I'm trying to say.
Well,
yes.
Congrats. We're grateful that you're here celebrating with us. If I were you, I would have taken the day off, but we appreciate your dedication to keeping us updated on these numbers. And you know what the good news is on your birthday is that we do have so much other good news coming in today. We're so excited to talk about this. We'll talk about Johnson & Johnson. The trucks are rolling, man. They're already going. It's going to be in arms of Americans in 24 to 48 hours. So we got a third vaccine, and it's very good news. And I see all the happy birthdays coming in, so I hope you see those too there, Garrett. The other big news that is related to Arizona specifically, we are opening up these state pods to 55 plus. So hopefully you'll stay with us, those of you who are watching, for a little bit longer, because the signups don't start just yet. Garrett, you actually just got off the phone with AZDHS about these changes. So again, for everybody just hopping on, 55 plus now at these state-run pods. What more did you learn on that phone call?
This is what they're doing. They're adopting a hybrid model throughout the state. So in the state pods, they're going to be using a sliding scale for age groups. So right now, State Farm, Phoenix Munis, basically Maricopa County state pods are going to be in the 55 plus category right now because they've already vaccinated over 55% of those who are 65 plus. So this is how their sliding scale is going to work. Once they vaccinate 55% of a 10-year increment, they're going to move down to the next one. So once they get to 55 plus, they get to 55% of 55 plus, 55 to 65, if you will. They're going to move to the 45. And then the 35, and then the 25, and then the 16, or whatever we're at as far as the age group in that respect. So that is the state pods. And again, this is still by county. So say, for example, Maricopa County is going to 55 plus tomorrow, but Tucson and Pima County is not, because the Pima County vaccination rates for 65 plus are at 47%. So they still have probably a week or so to go before they will move their state pod down there to 55%. So what about the other groups? What the AZDHS told me is that county distribution points and pharmacies and other groups, partners with the AZDHS, they're going to be working with those groups to get the other sort of phase 1C and phase 1B essential workers to get vaccinated. They're either going to set up sort of employer-based vaccination pods for like large employers, like for example, Fry's, which obviously employs a ton of grocery workers, and other places like that, UPS or USPS or something like that. They'll have those essential workers will be taken care of on an employer-based situation, and then say other counties will be able to change their numbers around based on what's going on. So for example, like Gila County right now, they're doing such a good job of vaccinating people that they've just opened it up to basically 18 plus.
So literally anybody, if you're in Gila County, you can go get a vaccination right now.
And Apache County is the same way. Apache County is 18 plus. And then and for like, so if you're in Pinal County, for example, or even Maricopa County, let's stick with Maricopa County. So if you're in Maricopa County and you're 35 and you have a comorbidity, so you're still someone that has a risk of being hospitalized from COVID-19. In that case, basically the county level distribution is going to set up with their pharmacy partners, either CVS or something like that, or at a county run site. And that's where you're going to go to get vaccinated if you're under that 55-year mark. The 55 plus is for the state pod, so Phoenix Muni and State Farm at this point.
So it kind of makes sense because out there at the pods, it's all about efficiency and getting people through quickly. And you wouldn't be able to verify any medical situations that people have and still keep that employer, all of that. I worked out at the state pod yesterday. I volunteered at the Phoenix Muni site, and it was awesome, a wonderful experience if you get the chance to do something like that. And as the cars came through, there are 4 checkpoints that you go through before you get your shot. And I'm at the second checkpoint verifying people's info and just checking a series of questions to make sure that people are okay before they pass on to the next group to head into physically get their shot, and then they head on to the fourth section, which is where they get rebooked for their next appointment and sort of hang out, make sure everything's okay. So there are 4 stops and all that, and I can imagine how that would sort of slow things up if you were trying to get through and verify those other things. So efficiency is the key at these state-run sites. There's 2, again, for those of you just joining us, there are 2 that are moving to 55 plus, a third one coming online as of Wednesday, so you could already sign up for that. And that is the Chandler Gilbert site. So that includes State Farm Stadium and Phoenix Municipal. Then we've got the Chandler site and we've got the Tucson site as well. Tucson is not doing the 55 plus at that location just yet. So just to recap, I know we're going to get lots of questions throughout this hour on all of this. Gila and Apache, pretty much anybody can now get vaccinated. We do still have those priority phase groups still in place for the counties. And Garrett, I just want you to recap one more time what you're hearing about essential worker employees.
I see a lot of questions about,
We'll get to all of them.
Workers and 1B workers, and that's what they're going to set up, either employer-run vaccine, well, employer-based, not run, employer-based vaccine sites, or they're going to set up other county distribution points, because there are other county distribution points, either pharmacies or county run sites themselves, to take care of the other the 1B and what will become 1C priority people. So if you're someone who's say in 20, if you're 25 years old and you have diabetes, you're considered someone with a comorbidity. And so at that point, you would be vaccinated, or you would be able to get an appointment when they're available, of course, at either most likely like a CVS or a Walgreens or a Walmart. Probably one of the county pharmacy partners is most likely where it's going to go through.
Okay, so if you work for a big grocery store or something like that, so they will set up their vaccination point most likely for you to get.
I also see some people, Amber asking, how far is the drive to Gila or Apache? That's I don't know. Here's the one thing, Amber. I don't know if they're, if you make an appointment as a Phoenician at Payson, for example, they may, you have to put in a lot of information. And since you're not a county resident, they may kick it back. I don't actually know the answer to that quite yet. So just understand that could be an issue.
Yeah, exactly. So, okay. For I want to get to some of these other questions because they're coming in so fast. People are asking, if you are 55 plus, then when can you sign up? So the signups, what I would recommend is going and getting a login and a password so you are all set to go, because at noon on Tuesday, that's when those appointments are going to start opening up so that you can sign up. And Michael, I'm glad producer Carrie put your question up, because this is exactly who I was answering here. So on Tuesday at noon, Michael, if you're 55 plus, then you can go sign up. So today, put it on your to-do list today to get a login and a password. Then tomorrow, go on at noon, get signed up. The earliest your appointment could be put into the system is for Thursday. So Tuesday and Thursday are your big times to watch. We also had a bunch of appointments open this morning. I don't know if they were all booked up for 65 plus. That is at that Chandler Gilbert site. And that came online this morning at 9. So wanted to remind you of that if you are 65 plus. Okay, trying to get to all the comments and questions. There are so many coming in. Okay, if you're here in Arizona as a snowbird, can you get the vaccination? If you are in that age group, yes, you can. You can get signed up for that. As I said yesterday, when I worked out there, we had a few people come in from other parts of the country, and I know that's upsetting to Arizonans who live here, but remember that every single person getting vaccinated helps protect us all as we work our way through this. I did see some from out of state. I also saw a lot of people who came through with a +1, and because the site I worked at yesterday was so slow, they were able to grant those. And it was like a celebration out there, Garrett. We even had one car where a man pulled through. He told me, I've set up one shot, I've got 3 others, and we can see they're over 65. I told him, just hang tight, you go through, come around again, try through registration. And because so many people didn't show yesterday, they were able to get all 3 through. And it was like a celebration when that car pulled through my lane for the second time to be able to say, yes, that all 4 of them were going to get that. Okay. So Debbie's asking, I want to get the J&J vaccination. How can I do that? Okay. They're not just here just yet.
Yes.
The trucks just started rolling, Debbie.
Yeah,
they should be here. Were you just pulling that up, Garrett?
I was pulling up. So there's here's the list. Let me show you what I look at for the J&J vaccination.
To see where they're going to go.
to show you, yeah, where they're going to go. They update this daily. It's a CDC data set where it shows the allocations per state. So I'll try to bring this in a little bit. You can see this is the J&J. Arizona is allocated 56,800. It says first dose, but it is the only dose, obviously, with this.
Right.
And it has 56,800 is their allocation right now. Now, the question, of course, and this is something that has to be answered by the state, is that we do not know if these are going to be state, like what's going to happen when the state gets this. Are they going to send this out to pharmacies? Are they going to send this to the county? We don't know where the J&J vaccine is going. And some other news, this is sort of a tangent, but I just wanted to get this through. Apparently, the Pfizer vaccine no longer has to be stored at those insane temperatures.
Super cool. Mm-hmm.
And so what that does is that sort of opens up a whole slew of possibilities of having these vaccines being available at doctors' offices and other places that are, much smaller points of distribution.
Mm-hmm.
And the J&J vaccine is one of those too. So this might be a situation in which they're going to use this for these sorts of places rather than just incorporate it into the state pods or the county pods. I don't know yet, but this is all we've got to work with right now.
Yeah.
Is 56,000.
So until J&J arrives and we have the specific answer for you, I can tell you this: Pfizer is at the state pods, Moderna is at everywhere else, and as soon as we know specifically where J&J is, we'll pass that along. So it's not where you can go choose what you would like. You have to go to that site, and then the choice is made for you. So if you want Pfizer, you got to sign up at a state one. What was that?
You don't get a menu or anything when you get there. Yeah. What would your selection be? No.
Yes, exactly. Okay, so Elizabeth's asking, I missed where to go to register. So go over to AZDHS. You want to set up that password and the login ahead of time. I keep stressing this because so many people get on there at, when the clock ticks at noon, or in this case today, when all those appointments opened up at 9 this morning, and then they're like, but they were gone. Just get your password and all that stuff set up. So you just have to log in right at 9 and sign up. So Andrea's asking, is the 55 plus change today statewide? It will start, you can get your appointment on Tuesday, and the appointments will then be filled starting Thursday. I'll tell you what happened from my experience out there yesterday. There were a few no-shows or cancellations. So because of that, they were starting to let 55 plus through at that site as walk-ins. And that was just yesterday. And every hour, every minute changes based on who's showing up. Remember, they want to get those vials that they've opened out, so they don't want them to go to waste.
Yeah, there's like a 10 to 20% no-show on any given day.
And that's what we saw out there at that exact site yesterday. So that exactly mirrored what Dr. Christ had said in that briefing. Mm-hmm. Okay. Coconino County, Andrea, there's not a state-run pod there yet. So that's why. Christina, what was your question? It went by so fast. If it comes back up, we'll get to it. She's asking us to answer a question. Okay, I want to get to all the numbers. Oh, just tuning in. But if people 65 and over are still having problems getting appointments, why did they lower the age limit? This, I don't know the answer to that, except that it's all based on percentages. But let us know where they're having a problem or why they're having a problem, because there's usually some way to solve it. I heard from a lot of people who were saying the pod site is too far away. I can't go in the car. Okay. YMCA has a program to get you picked up so that you don't have to pay. So call over there to get set. I heard from other people having trouble using their phone system. This would be the time for anybody 65 plus to really work the phones before this opens up tomorrow at noon. Call 211 or call the phone number, which is 1-844-542-8201. So either of those, if you want to sign up on the podvaccine.azdhs.gov or call 211, or that full number, 1-844-542-8201. So, lots to talk about.
Yeah,
okay.
Today's a big day.
It is a huge day, because remember, this J&J thing is going to change everything. Yes, Heather, we did say J&J is a 1-dose vaccine. That's all you need for that. You'll be taken care of right then. And Garrett, when you showed that 56,000 heading out to Arizona, those big numbers they've warned us are going to be pretty good off the bat, because they've already got the production going, but now they need to keep it going. So it's going to slow in a few weeks. And then we'll start to sort of regulate out those numbers for how we're getting that J&J. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Kim, we only know, she's asking what sites have which vaccines. I'm sorry, being repetitive for anybody on here. Just want to get to all your questions since today is such an important day. Pfizer is at the state-run sites. Moderna is at any other sites. We don't yet know where Johnson & Johnson's going. Kim's asking for the phone number again. Producer Carrie, are we able to put that? Can you add that to the comments too? I know we keep punching it up. You can call 211 Kim or the 1-844-542-8201. All right. Hey, Garrett, did they say when you talked to them over there, the 55 plus, can they do that at the Chandler Gilbert site, or did they literally just say
it's
Phoenix?
Maricopa County.
Okay, so that should be
pods in Maricopa County should be
are
switched to
good to
55
go.
plus.
So
Yes.
Julia, I hope that answers your question. When can 55 and over sign up? You would be able to sign him up at noon tomorrow, and then he'd be able to get into that.
And I know, again, repetitive, but people are asking these questions.
Yeah, it's okay.
Deborah, weren't adults with high risk illnesses group prior to that? This is a hybrid approach that the state is using now. So those prioritized groups, those younger people, will still be prioritized. They will be just not done at the state pods. They will be done at county locations, pharmacies. In fact, there's going to be multiple number of places that those groups will be able to get their vaccine. Whereas the state pods for those 55 plus, they're going to State Farm, Phoenix Muni, or Chandler Gilbert. Those are the three places. So so don't go on the website looking for a pharmacy saying 55 plus, because it's likely not going to be there.
Yeah.
Those are going to continue to be 65. And then going to be the other one be, the essential workers and the people with high risk morbidities. So
So Rebecca's asking, what about essential workers? So again, those are going to be through your employer. So if you have if you work for a grocery store, if you work for a major like real estate firm here, realtors are included in that.
Yeah,
they'll have it.
Obviously, when you're talking about their employer, we're talking about Fry's and Costco and UPS and these massive employers. So obviously, if you're an essential worker, but you don't work for, this massive company, it's not going to be an employer-based site. Possibly it's going to be like a either location-based or something that the county is going to set up for, a group of employers. So that's, they're still working that out. That's what he told me. So it's still in the works. They don't know exactly how that's going to work yet, but they know that it's likely going to be for employer-based system for like the big employers, but then for the other essential workers, it's going to be a little different, but they're working it out right now.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. I hope that we answered most of those questions. I still see some coming in. If there's anything you missed, we'll try to circle back and talk about that again. We do have really good news on how many numbers of vaccinations are coming out. So across the US, we've had 77 million doses into the arms of Americans, 50 million in that first group. 25 million have gotten their complete dose. So that puts us at 15% of people across the United States have already gotten at least one shot. How does that compare to us here in Arizona? We're actually doing better. We're at 17.1% have gotten their first shot.
This moves a lot. So just, take it for what it's worth, but I'll go to the Washington Post numbers. We're actually at the top of the heap right now, essentially. And the Washington Post. Now
you're going to the state by state chart?
I'm going to the state by state for vaccine chart for Washington Post, but just as a caution, this does move as states update their numbers on different in different time zones. But right now, Arizona is right up there as the third highest state with the number of, hold on a second, just make sure I do this right. Nope, sorry about that. I had that wrong. Where are we? We are okay,
we should be around 17%.
We're about where we were at a 17.5%. So I apologize for that. We're still in the same position we're in, where we are of the states that are 7 million. We're the second, the second most vaccinated. That would only be Massachusetts. So Massachusetts being the first, Arizona being the second. We have several smaller states that have a slightly higher percentage of the population that are vaccinated. But of the larger states, we are second right now.
Yeah. So, I mean, really, really good news for Arizona. We're trending above what we're doing across the U.S. So Sue Ann's asking, did I miss it? Did they say when high risk will be able to sign up? So they're going to, we don't know specifically just yet. Unless you are 55 plus, then you can go ahead and sign up tomorrow for the state-run sites starting at noon. Debbie's got a really good question. Katie, did they say if middle of the night appointments 2 or 3 a.m. are more likely to get a +1? Okay, so here's what I found. They don't know. It's just when people start to not show. So Debbie, for instance, yesterday out there, I started volunteering at about 11, and at about 1:30, we had a lot of no-shows. So around that time, that's when we had a bunch of plus ones. That doesn't mean that 1:30 each day is the same across all sites or even particular to that site. It's just a hit or miss thing. I started to see more people coming in with walk-in on their paperwork, and that's how I could tell that they were starting to just show up and get in, and people were able to get other people in their car in. So we really worked hard to make sure if there was somebody in the car getting their vaccine, literally 3 people in the car were able to also get those, and they were so grateful for it. People were so happy coming through the line, Garrett, yesterday. They were
So.
some were a little bit quiet, and everybody's wearing a mask, so you're it's harder to communicate. You're with a stranger, so you maybe are talking a bit less, but once they got comfortable, it was really a joy to be out there and help people through that process. It was overwhelming, actually, because it had been 1 year to the day since I had had my family together. So it was a nice way to sort of wrap up a year that was pretty dismal.
Yeah, this was the last. This week was the last week we actually did something too.
Yeah.
Birthday.
Yes.
This was the last week we all did something, and then we all went into lockdown like 10 days later. So.
Yep. Yeah. You exactly get it. My daughter's birthday was last week, so we had people over last night 1 year ago, and it was just so strange to 1 year later. The last time I'd seen most of them to experience that. Okay. So when will essential workers that are not employed by Costco or a big employer?
There's no difference. There's no difference between, like, it's not like the Costco or the Fry's workers are going to get there first. They're just working out a system right now for the employer-based and for the essential workers. And he was just giving me an example. The AZDHS was giving me an example of, say, for example, Fry's will have their own distribution point. Costco, UPS, the big ones would have their own distribution point, but they'll also work out at the same time distribution points for other essential workers in that, that would be eligible. So this is all going to happen at the same time. It's not going to be like, oh, you're a grocery store worker at Fry's, so you're going to be first in line. But if you're a grocery store worker at some small, mom and pop shop, you're not going to get in there. They'll have something set up for everybody. Yeah,
exactly. And the faster we get through all of these, the faster everybody gets their vaccination. So I know that there's vaccine envy and all of that, but we're getting there in all of this. Okay, can you tell me what time tomorrow to register? Register right now and then get the appointment at noon tomorrow. So get all registered so you don't have any mess when you're on that site and you've locked in a spot. And it's just get all registered now, get your login, get your password over on the AZDHS site, and then sign up at noon tomorrow if you're 55 plus. So, all these really good questions coming in. So I hope that helps. We can even circle back
on the question of anybody having an above average chicken enchilada recipe. That's stuff, Drew.
At this point, I'll take it, because you know what, to Drew, I have tried to support local businesses and done way too much takeout. So I do need to start cooking at home. So thank you for that. All right. Lana's asking, what about if I'm the caregiver of my sister? Okay. So if your sister's going to get vaccinated, Lana, go with her. At least try to get in there for one of those plus ones. It just depends on how busy they are at the time, but you could be able to get your shot at that point. All right. Should we get to some of the other stuff, Garrett? I know there's so much other information. We're going to keep getting questions on this. We'll try to circle back and answer them all. Because I know it's in the chat at the top for those of you who are watching on Facebook Live. And so we're going to, continue to get questions on that. We'll try to circle back and answer them. We still did have over a 1,000 case day today here.
1,000 today, and today's Mondays are always a very low reporting day. Obviously, everyone sees this -1, and we have to explain this that this is actually quite common because Sundays there are very few death reports on Sundays, if any. Most of the counties, in fact, don't report any deaths on Sundays, no matter what. And so, oftentimes, when the epidemiologists over at the AZDHS are going through the data and they're deduplicating or they're checking records, they will withdraw a certain amount of records. And on a Monday, we can see this -1. So it's not that, there's a zombie running around or anything like that, or, say, oops, this isn't a COVID death. There's usually there's always an explanation as to why there's a number 1 or a -1. So this is where we are today. 817,821. 15,979. We are very likely going to break the 16,000 barrier tomorrow. It's in fact it's a near certainty. And then as far as our 7-day averages, We did some really good numbers today. Our 7-day average has dropped from 1,500 on February 25th to 1,100 today. So we are just sinking like a rock on the number of COVID cases, newly added COVID cases that we're getting. As far as the deaths, we're still fairly high. We were on that same time period on 225, we were at 76, and we're only at 68 for our average. So although trending downward, what I'm seeing is our case averages are now put us basically where we were on October 30th. So before Halloween, before the surge at this point, we're now looking at what our case numbers are, but our death numbers are still fairly high. They're still sort of from mid-December right now. And it's still going to take, a good couple weeks to see these numbers go down to where they were in, say, September, October, these death numbers.
So Garrett, when we're speaking of cases, and you and I discussed last week that we were 85% off peak cases in January. Have we hit a floor here? Are we slowing more?
We're slowing. Let me show you what it looks like right now. I'm going to use 91 DVOC because it does a really good job of showing what it is with everybody else. We go to this site fairly frequently, and let me show you what it looks like here. So this is the new COVID cases by states normalized by population. I've got Arizona highlighted. You can see after about 32 days ago, we started a very, very aggressive decline of cases. This is where most of our 85%. And then you can see right here, we had a leveling off for about 5 or 6 days, and we've continued. We've begun another decline. So can we hit another floor? It's very likely we will hit another floor very soon. In fact, we might be seeing that right now. It just depends on what tomorrow's number is going to be in many ways. If tomorrow's number is below 1,500, then we will probably continue to drop and decline because Tuesday's number usually incorporates both reporting for Sunday and Monday. And so if we do have, say, a number, if we have 1,000 cases added tomorrow, that's a really good indicator that we're going to keep dropping. If we have 15, we may hit a floor for a little bit for the rest of the week and then see another drop later. So it really depends. But you can see right now, case-wise, Arizona is in the sort of middle lower tier of the states right now. Everybody's going down, but we are certainly we're no longer sort of in the high numbers now. I was talking about deaths, so to be fair, I need to add this and look at it. And you can see with deaths, we still are fairly high. We're number 4 in the number of newly added deaths on any given day. So,
and this chart is also, we can't see the top, also normalized for population.
This is all normalized for population. Okay. Right now, you can see Virginia has experienced a very significant spike. This sort of spike could be because of reporting difference, but you can see because a lot of the other states sort of follow a more similar pattern to what Arizona has, and so I don't know why Virginia has spiked like that. I said assuming it's a reporting issue. But we'll find out later.
So if we are number 4, who else? I see it looks like California is above us besides Virginia.
Yeah, California's number 2, followed by Alabama, followed by Arizona, and then Oklahoma. That rounds up the top 5 with Virginia right now.
Wow. Interesting selection of states there making the top 5 in that, sadly. All right. That helps, Garrett. Thank you. Let's also, I just wanted to check on these variants because everybody is asking about, the race to get vaccinated before these variants start to show up. The CDC's site does provide a limited listing. Is that really the best place that you're suggesting to go to?
We have right now. There are some other sites I'm trying to work with, but they're significant. I mean, they're so for lack of they're so dense. The site I'm trying to work with is so dense as far as it's very for really high level scientists. And so I haven't really figured out how to use it because it's got a lot of sequencing and other stuff in it. As soon as I figure out the best way to show that site, I will use it, because one of the issues the CDC site has, and I'll show you it right now, is that we don't, while the B117 says 2,400, what we do know is that we don't have a lot of sequencing going on. And so we don't know. All we know right now is that we have 14 B117 variants that have been reported in Arizona, but that's off of a fairly limited number of sequenced
samples.
So
yeah.
That really, it doesn't really give us anything. We're kind of flying a little blind with these variants right now. And I know that's a concern to everybody, but I think that's unfortunately what we have here is right now we are, flying pretty blind. We don't really know. The sequencing site that I'm talking about, it shows much more possible prevalence of B117. But, this is what we have to work with right now until I can figure out that site.
Yeah, so that's the place to check. Again, there was 14 listed on there, and all coming from that B117 variant as well. So, Garrett, the other place that we ran out of time to sort of look at last week, and I want to make sure folks know, what are the projections looking like for Arizona now that we're getting a little bit closer? I remember it felt like such a long way in the future to think of March. Yet here we are in March already. And that's when I believe it was at the end of March. Back then, they were predicting that the number of vaccinations that were showing up meant that we could slightly start to change a curve at the end of March. I'm curious to see if those projections remain the same as we approach 20%, 17% of Arizonans with vaccine.
So I just went on the IHME. They've removed their vaccination. Let me see if they've removed it. Yeah, so they've removed their vaccination projections. I don't know why they did that yet. It could be because they're refining them, or they just found that they weren't useful. Like I said, IHME early on I didn't use a lot, but they've been a lot better as data has come in. So because the vaccination data is so new, there's probably a lot of stuff that they're working on in the background to see how they can make sure that they best represent the vaccine data. So they basically, what I'm getting to is they've removed it. So let's look at where we are for the most part. You can see we still have, where we are in early March, we still have a bit of a climb for daily deaths. But it does look like we're going to end in June right now. The current projection is just under 18,000. But you can see the way that this is working is where we are right now at about almost 16,000, which is matching where we are. We're going to get to 17,000 in a month, and then it's going to take us 2 months to get to 18,000. And likely after that, it's going to take us 3 months to get to 19,000, and then 6 months to get to 20,000. That's if things keep going the way that they're working. So it's supposed, that is essentially flattening the curve. So, when you see it's doubling, tripling the amount of time it takes to hit a metric. The daily number of deaths, you can see we're sort of in the middle of a drop, and we should be hitting a floor there sometime in May. I'm going to ignore hospital use because right now we know that there's no problems with the hospitals at all. And this is the daily estimated infections. This is about 2,300 on any given day, and that's agnostic to confirmed tests. This is just people they think in the wild are being infected, about 2,300. You can see we're on a slow decline here till we should be in the less than 300 a day on June 1st. Now, when we get to 300 estimated infections, our confirmed case count should either match that or be much, much lower. At that point, it should be higher than that, because this is, like I said, supposed to be agnostic to the number of confirmed cases, because this is counting people who are 18 and don't even realize they have COVID-19, so they don't get a test.
Okay. So this is updated. Is it still updated every 3 or 4 days like it was in the fall?
No, it's a couple weeks now. It looks like they're at February 25th at the last update right now. That was last week. So yeah, on Thursday. So that's fairly recent. I've seen it go a little longer, so we'll see what it's going to be right now. Like I said, because they took that vaccine data off, I'm expecting that they'll probably bring it back and do an update sooner than later so that they can put the vaccine data back on.
Okay, so that's the place to go check if you'd like to just see how things are projecting so far here, both in Arizona and across the U.S. Okay, more vaccine questions coming in. Christina's asking, why can't they just have a standby line? That would be a great idea to be able to have a standby line. Some sites on some days, like what I saw yesterday, they do take walk-ins. So if you want to go by and try, you can. There is no promises, and please be very kind to the volunteers who are out there giving of their time. Sometimes if they have a lot of no-shows, they'll let people through. I don't think it would be as helpful beyond Thursday or Wednesday, when this huge flux of new people come in, it's going to be really tough to get over there and do that. But that was happening yesterday. I know it was not happening today. So some days they do let that happen. Kevin's asking, how many vaccines have been given? So Kevin, across the country, 77 million doses have been given, 50 million first doses, 25 million second doses. And here in Arizona, people with a complete set equal 590,000. So we should hit 600,000 today. Garrett, I don't know what the exact number is. I know we've hit 17% of Arizonans vaccinated.
It's been almost 1.3 million, so 1.2 million. However, something to note, in yesterday from today, when they added more data to the vaccination chart, there were more second dose vaccines than there were first dose vaccines. There were, let's see, let me just get that number. There were 21,000 fully completed vaccines that were given out yesterday, and then 17,900. So about 4,000 more people got their second dose shot than their first dose shot yesterday. And again, that's one of the reasons why they're moving to 55 plus, is because they're seeing a slowdown in first dose vaccines, and they're seeing, people coming back to their completed series. So
yeah,
that's why they're moving it to the next level.
Yeah. By the way, all I have is soreness in my arm. I didn't experience anything. I did have a great night of sleep last night that I scheduled out for myself to make sure. Drank a lot of water, and I'll be back in 3 weeks, but had no problems with that. Same with my parents who went through. They feel fine too. So that's good news. One had Moderna, one had Pfizer. Debbie's asking, how many coffee cards do I need to bring to the volunteers in my lane? Exactly, Debbie. I wish that was the case. I wish they were the one making the choice. We were just the ones, once they got through, to sort of help facilitate them and make sure that all their questions were answered, their screening questions were done, that their zip code and birth date and driver's license, checking all that kind of stuff. And then we'd send them through again if they had any +3s or +1s in the car to see if they could get through. So what time will they open up the portal to schedule an appointment, Mary? I'm assuming you're asking for 55 plus, and that's going to happen at noon tomorrow. So go get your login and password done today. Do it now, Mary, so that when you go to log on tomorrow, you're not caught up in any of that other stuff. I hope you are able to get everybody signed up. Let's see. Aggie's saying people who are 70 and older still can't get their shots. Try to call those numbers we posted, because and call quick. Call before tomorrow at noon, because you don't want to be in the bigger group that goes through. You want to get in there sooner.
And just so Aggie knows, 70 plus you can get your vaccination shot 70 plus literally anywhere. So you can
any
get it
site,
any pharmacy, and anywhere that they have. You do not have to do this the State Farm. In fact, at this point, while I can't make recommendations, I would say definitely look at those other sites at this point, because those 55 plus appointments are for the State Farm sites. So it's going to be a little harder to get more appointments for State Farm and Phoenix Muni when they're adding a whole new previously unvaccinated age group. So it would be more beneficial for people who are of the age groups that have been able to be vaccinated to likely go and look for the other sites, the pharmacies, the Walgreens, the Fry's, all of these places.
Yeah, and I would also, Aggie, try the Maricopa. If you're in Maricopa County, go through the county site to sign up, because then you're going to have a list of all those providers, and then you can get through and sign up for something there. That seems to be the easiest. Cindy's asking, is that noon Arizona time? It is noon Arizona time. Jay's asking, so is this a continuation of the 1B group, or are we now officially in 1C? Depends where you're asking from, Jay, with that cool camera and your shot there. I like it. 1C for Apache and Gila. Priority 1B for Maricopa, Yuma, Mojave, Pinal, Pima, Cochise, and what am I forgetting there?
Is it Coconino?
Nope. La Paz, Yavapai, Coconino, Navajo,
South is on
Greenlee. I forgot Greenlee. That's who I forgot there.
Yeah.
The regular 1B is La Paz, Yavapai, Coconino, Navajo, Graham, and Santa Cruz.
Yeah, you have to start thinking of the phases as a county function,
right?
And the states are going to be on a sliding scale for age. So when we say what phase are we on? Well, when we're talking about that, we're now talking about the county distribution points. These states will now be on a phased age approach. 55 plus right now. At some point in the future, they're going to be 45 plus. So they're not using the phasing
two separate ways.
two separate ways of doing it, one at the state sites and one at the county sites,
Yeah.
or just other county partners and whatnot.
Yeah.
Before we finish, I know we're running out of time. I did want to bring up the vaccine zip code map, because that was added
Yes.
to right after we finished our broadcast on Friday. In fact, they put this up and made it live. And so I've been spending a little time with it, although I don't have anything to do with it just yet as far as doing some fun things other than what's being shown. I do want to show you this map. We're going to start all the way up. Now, just like the COVID case map, the tribal areas, Navajo Nation, White Mountain Apache, and then Gila River and Tohoto O'odham, all these places, they do not give out their data. So we do not have any information on that. But what it basically is showing what things look like right now. We can see most places have less than 1,000 vaccines, but these are very rural areas. If we move down to Maricopa County, this is sort of one of the things we've been talking about, Katie, is how, one of the concerns we may have even with this 55 plus or just anything is that there's these lines of these areas of Phoenix that are not being vaccinated at the same rate as some of the other zip codes. Anyone who sort of knows the Valley can look at this and sort of see there's a pattern here. This area of Phoenix is a very upper class area of Phoenix. So is the East Valley. You come up here, the Scottsdale corridor, still very upper class. You come out here, and now you're looking at sort of, working class neighborhoods. A lot of Hispanic neighborhoods are down here. And so there is a concern looking at this that, the counties someone has to do a lot of reach out to these areas to make sure that these vaccination rates in these other zip codes get up to where the eastern side of Arizona is, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah. All about the equitable distribution and making sure that everyone is served.
You see essentially the same thing in Tucson. So Tucson, this is South Tucson right here. And you can see that, there's lower vaccination rates in most of South Tucson, and in the Catalina foothills and some of the quote unquote nicer areas of Tucson have much higher rates. So the same sort of situation going on there.
All right. It's your birthday. I want to wrap here and make sure that you can get on to celebrating, even if you're just hanging out at home. And we're not with everybody tomorrow. So unless something changes in my assignments here at the station, I won't be able to join you all tomorrow. So I want to make sure that you have the very latest information. And Garrett and I are going to continue to update our Twitter accounts. I'll try to keep updating my Facebook account. I know that there were a lot of questions. I can see the number popping up on the side. I can't even open the inbox there because it's too many right now, but I'll try to pop back over there and continue to answer some of your questions. Laura's asking, yep, your husband will be able to sign up starting tomorrow. Get him a password, and ride with him just in case that the site you happen to go to is able to take you to. And Brittany's saying that my job is to take calls for the state and scheduling appointments. I'm sure I'll be speaking with some of you tomorrow. Brittany, thanks for what you do in all of this too. So that's what
asking for her direct line.
I know exactly. I exactly. So thank you, Brittany, and be kind to Brittany and all the other people that you call.
Kind of Brittany, please.
Yes. And by the way, I had a viewer ask. They were in Yavapai County. They were looking for a shot, and I ended up dialing the county, and you get right through. I mean, I talked to somebody right away, and they were like, "Oh, we have a couple over at Safeway," and or Safeway just wrapped up all theirs this morning. Call back tomorrow. So, trying to call the county health department through the number that they've listed for their COVID shots is a way to do that too. Just look up your specific county. So hopefully that helps. And then I saw.
Yeah, let me just tell you what I mean. Look, I'm not giving advice, but
right.
If I'm going out there looking for a vaccine right now, and I'm someone who has been eligible, but I haven't been able to get an appointment, I'm not trying to sign up at State Farm at this point. Okay.
Yeah.
Especially because they're adding a new age group. I'm looking for what the counties can do. I'm looking for the Moderna. I'm looking for the Fry's pharmacies, the Walgreens, the Walmart pharmacies, those other places, because the criteria is a little more strict still on where, and if I've been eligible for X amount of time, I'm still eligible. It's going to be an easier time getting a vaccine appointment at these county partnerships rather than at State Farm, where they just open it up to all 55 plus. That's going to be a bit of a madhouse for a little bit.
Yeah, I haven't even checked that Passport Health site that I was using for so long. I know I told so many people about it that they got so busy. So Judy saying she can't get a shot, been trying for 2 months. We're in our 70s, very frustrated. Judy, your name's familiar. I'm wondering if you're the Judy Tobin. I know her. I just know another Judy Tobin. And you guys share the same name. Great lady. Anyway, you can call that 211 number, Judy, to get through, or 1-844-542-8201. So I would call over there before noon tomorrow. I would, close out Facebook and go call right now so that you could try to get that set up before the rush tomorrow of new people coming through. Okay, that's going to do it because Garrett, you need to go celebrate your birthday. Happy birthday. Thanks for hanging out with us today, despite that. If you want to send Garrett more birthday wishes or just want to follow his tweets, you can find him at Garrett_Archer on Twitter. I am at Katie Rammel on Twitter. I'm also on Facebook. Just posted this over there. We'll try to get over and answer some questions there too. That is facebook.com/news from Katie. To work my memory there. And then also our newscast is starting in about 2 minutes right over the wall there from me. So you can find all of our coronavirus reporting if you're missing our newscast at abc15.com/coronavirus. Our newscasts come up at 4, 5, 6, 9, and 10 p.m. for the very latest on our coronavirus reporting. Again, 55 plus being welcomed into that group, and J&J vaccines already in the truck, starting to roll. We should have shots in arms this week of Arizonans and Americans, and we are hitting 17.1% Arizonans vaccinated. So many things to celebrate along with Garrett's birthday today. In the meantime, we'll be back with you one of the days later this week. We don't know which day yet, but we will check in with you again, keep you updated on all things and all numbers related to COVID. We'll see you then. In the meantime, mask up, everybody. Be safe.